don't even have anything to say. Nothing witty, nothing cool. But I did get a new wig. Thoughts? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Zhariya Smith, and I typically make commentary videos just like this one. So if you guys happen to like that, or you just might love my beautiful face, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post, which happens to be on Mondays and on Fridays. So how are we doing today? I hope you're doing great, and honestly, I'm glad to be posting a normal video. Because my last one, as you guys know, if you haven't watched it, I'll link it above, but I talked about the Gabby DiMartino situation. It has gotten a whole lot more worse than when I recorded that video, but thank you guys for, subscribing to me, because I just hit 700 subscribers, which is pretty cool, pretty neat. I like that. And either way, let's talk about the pop culture icon that is Betty Boop. So you might be asking, who is Betty Boop? Well, she is an animated character who was created by Max. No, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I'm gonna be real honest. So, this person, and was also helped with other animators like Grim Natwick. She was featured in a whole bunch of cartoons during the Great Depression era. She was also featured in some comic strips as well. And we obviously know for the humongous, gigantic, mass merchandising that Betty Boop is on. I feel like you cannot see a single, I feel like I see Betty Boop like so much, way more than I guess I wasn't alive when she came out, but I just feel like that I see a whole lot more merchandising for Betty Boop than anything else. So Betty Boop is a caricature of a jazz age flapper, as Wikipedia says at least. She was described as her appearance was described in a court case, which is a whole other thing. I would talk about it, but I don't care. That's not true. It's not that I don't care, it's that the lawsuit was kind of dumb. But her appearance is very childish with the sophisticated, her appearance is, she has a very round face, big eyes, nose like a button. She has very, curvy look to herself. And, that's how she looks. Definitely, I will say that her appearance definitely did tone down in the mid-1930s because of the Hays Code, which I talked about in my video about Shirley Temple, and just that general era of, TV and film and all that stuff. Also, another thing to note, which I did not know when I was a small child, is that Betty Boop apparently is 16 years old. Google says that she's between 13 to 16, but Max Fleischer, I feel bad for not knowing this man's last name when I literally just researched this entire thing. But he did say that she was 16 years old, which is, weird. And I'll tell you why it's weird. So I'm going to call this section Black Women Can't Have Anything, because many people argue about who Betty Boop was based off of. The majority, I would say that it's based off of Helen Kane because of the court case, which is stupid. Not stupid, just irrelevant, to me at least. Others say that she's based off of Clara Bow, but I'm I'd say a good 98% sure that Betty Boop was based off of Esther Jones. This is mostly because, well, like I said, Black women can't have anything. And if you look at Betty Boop and you look at her features, the fact that she is, prominently, known in jazz, which do I need to tell you who, started jazz? But we digress. You can obviously look at her. There definitely was a cartoon where she was animated as a Black person. I cannot tell when it was filmed because I don't know. I can show you guys a clip of it of her being Black. I don't know if it was like a funny blackface thing or whatever. But she was animated as a Black person, and now we see her as a black and white. Now obviously she has color to her, but she, whatever. But some background on Esther Jones is that she's obviously African American. She's a jazz singer and entertainer from Harlem, New York. Her stage name was Baby Esther, and she had a popular cabaret act, which she was known for at the infamous Cotton Club in Harlem, New York, where she sang with her unique voice style that featured boop, boop, boop-a-doops, which if I can recall properly, I'm pretty sure that that's Betty Boop's catchphrase. I could be wrong here. I'll correct myself if I am. But yeah, so, just scat noises, which is also, I will note, very popular in jazz, but I feel like that it is more, that she is being mimicked after this black woman. So the court case situation where, Helen Kane was like, they're copying me. Why would they copy another? Sorry, no, that's going to be mean. I'm just going to continue on talking. That style of singing, that style of talking was very much mimicked by Betty Boop, mimicking Esther Jones, in my personal opinion. And Esther Jones, even though, to me, it's very obvious that that was the real person who Betty Boop was based off of. She never got any compensation for, her image, Esther Jones, actually, it was said that she died, very, very young. And there's not much about her. She never really got famous. She never really got anything, which is kind of, sad. But to now get into, I don't know, is this the bulk of the video? Is this the part of the video where I talk about the problem with everything? Because nothing can ever just be inherently good on this channel. There's always a not dark, but a different side. So that side is the blatant sexualization of this, 16-year-old animated girl. Now, Betty Boop, originally, she was animated as a dog, and she, was then transformed into being, the woman that she is today. Or, is she a woman? Either way, Betty Boop is one of the first, animated, or one of the best known sex symbols when it comes to animation. I guess you could also say Jessica Rabbit, but Jessica Rabbit came a little bit after her. So, She also is a symbol of, the Depression era and the Jazz age, which is very, interesting, at least to me. And she, was drawn in because of her sexual nature, kind of similarly to Miss Shirley Temple. She was seen by a lot of adult audiences because cartoons were originally made for adults. So, that was, the thing about that. But there was a lot of, sexual things in this. And, similarly, I'm going to talk about Shirley Temple a lot because that's really so sad. But unlike with Shirley Temple, how, she was a literal toddler. This was an animated character. So they could really do anything that they wanted up until, the Hays Code situation. But they could really animate her however they wanted to because there really wasn't any regulations when it came to cartoons or really media in general then. One short that she was in called Minnie the Moocher in 1932, which featured Cab Calloway, which was a whole thing, I guess. Betty's character, she's a teenager because she's a teenager, and she was, having a disagreement with her parents because she is child. Anyways, she runs away from home, and she was accompanied by her boyfriend Bimbo, who was a dog, which also, speaking of bimbos, watch my video about the bimbo aesthetic. It's actually doing really good right now. But they get lost in a haunted cave. The ghostly walrus, who was, voiced by Cab Calloway, did, his famous dance style that he did. And, this then scared Betty and Bimbo to run back home and then whatever, But that was a really huge cartoon that or talkatoon or whatever it is. That was a really big thing that she was in. And, since then she skyrocketed. And Betty Boop also was one of the first cartoon characters who were female that had their own, stick. Because you obviously had Minnie Mouse, but she was obviously just the female version of Mickey. But she was, her female cartoon. She was kind of one of the first ones, to do that. And there also still aren't many female starring cartoons even now, I feel like. If there are, comment them down below. I'm curious. But she obviously represented an extremely sexual woman, whether she knew that or not. Well, she's a cartoon. You know what I mean. But you know, Minnie Mouse was obviously, you know, shown in her underwear or whatever, but that was different than how Betty Boop was portrayed. Now, she wore short dresses, high heels, garters, obviously her boobs or breasts. I don't want YouTube to, you know, do whatever. But like, she obviously had like large breasts, and that was shown. She showed her cleavage, and male counterparts would try to look up her skirt, or her skirt would always be flipped up in some kind of way. You know, her dress was always falling down and showing her bra. Like, she was everywhere. Like, people loved watching Betty Boop do these, you know, extremely sexual things. And I feel like the main thing was that because she was so young, she didn't really understand the sexual nature of her. We saw also that Betty Boop was being sought out by male characters within the thing. This is a trigger warning, but many of the men who would, you know, kidnap her, chop her, whatever it was, would threaten to have their way with her, which is gross. But it also, you know, acknowledged that women do get harassed within the workforce, but that aside, still, you know, kind of weird. So in Betty Boop's bamboo aisle, she does a hula wearing nothing but a lei strategically placed over her bazongas. That's not proper English, but over that, and she was also wearing a grass skirt. Now this was her first cameo appearance in Popeye the Sailor in 1933, and people loved her. People loved Miss Boop, but then she obviously was in whitewashed, and obviously, you know, the rest is history. But it was just interesting that her face looked like a baby, but then her body obviously looked very like womanly, which, you know, that combination of like girliness and maturity really got the folks going then. And obviously she represented floppers, which were like those short dresses, you know, the whole vibe with the short hair. But again, Betty Boop was originally a poodle. Her hoop earrings used to be ears. Like, this was a literal, which also is why I feel like even more that she was, to go back, why I feel even more, she definitely was a black woman, because how many times have we seen black people just be turned into animals? Or compared to animals? And the fact that Betty Boop used to be a dog, just, it doesn't sit right with me. It feels there's something going on there. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Betty Boop was a black woman who was sexualized by the media, like, you know, usual. I have a video on that too. And, you know, now people wear, as 16-year-old girls, a merchandise all over themselves and have it as their personalities, which, you know, is fine. Everyone does what they want. I don't care. As long as you're happy and not harming others, do your thing. But have I been talking? I've been talking for way too long about this stuff. But either way, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. And if you did, please, please, please give it a thumbs up. I'm not trying to like beg, but like, it makes YouTube think that I'm like worth, you know, something. So, you know, might as well. And also make sure to subscribe down below, because I just hit 700, but like, I like hitting 100 increments, like, you know, even numbers, not like in like a Charli D'Amelio like getting canceled way, but just like in like a that'd be really cool type of way. Regardless, that's my video. Leave your comments down below about your opinions on Miss Betty Boop, your opinion on the Esther Jones situation. If you want to talk about the whole court case thing, which I feel like is irrelevant, you know, let's talk about that in the comments down below. But make sure to stay happy and stay healthy, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.